Welcome to our explainer. Today, we're tackling something a whole lot of us have felt firsthand, that intense pressure, that race for marks in school, and how it's kind of rewriting the whole definition of what it means to learn.
For millions of students and even their teachers, this one simple question has drowned out almost everything else. It shoves real curiosity to the side and gives rise to something we're calling the IMP culture.
Okay, so let's really dive into this. What exactly is this obsession with so-called important questions? And more importantly, what does it tell us about the state of our education system right now?
So at its heart, this culture just completely flips the script. The goal of education stops being about a journey of discovery and turns into a high-stakes guessing game. Actually, learning something becomes a side quest. The main goal is just to pass the test. And that creates this huge conflict right in the soul of our schools.
And this right here, this really lays out that conflict perfectly. On one side, you have the dream, the ideal of education, which is all about developing a curious, skilled human being. But on the other side, you've got the reality, a system that pretty much rewards taking shortcuts and treats students like walking, talking hard drives.
So how in the world did we get here? I mean, this whole thing didn't just pop up overnight. Let's start peeling back the layers and really try to understand the deep-seated causes that are fueling this relentless race for marks.
Wow, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It points to a system that's way more focused on production, just churning out high scores, instead of focusing on what really matters, the intellectual and personal growth of each student. And what's really striking is that this isn't new. Experts have been sounding the alarm for decades. We're talking way back in 1993, people were warning about the mental burden of just memorizing stuff. And policy after policy has called for a change, a shift towards actual critical thinking. So you've got to understand, this isn't just about students being lazy or teachers being uninspired. No, this is a systemic problem. You've got this insane competition where a tiny fraction of a percent can change your entire life. You've got massive social pressure, and it's all built on an evaluation system where one 3-hour exam can make or break you. All these things just feed this vicious cycle.
All right, we've diagnosed the problem. Now let's talk about the consequences. Beyond the classroom, what's the actual damage? What is the real price students are paying in this crazy high-stakes race for marks?
And the effects, well, they're pretty devastating. When the only thing that matters is spitting back the right answer, creativity gets crushed. That natural, amazing curiosity kids have to ask why, it gets shut down with because that's not going to be on the exam. It causes horrible anxiety, it destroys confidence, and yeah, it can even push good kids toward cheating just to keep up. And here's the real kicker. The knowledge that's gained this way, it's so temporary. Think about it. Information that isn't connected to any real understanding or logic, our brains just store it in short-term memory. It sticks around just long enough to fill out the exam paper, and poof, it's gone. You're left with a piece of paper, but not the skills you need for the real world. And hey, this isn't just a theory. We have proof. International tests, like the PISA surveys, give us the hard data. They show that students are really well trained to recall facts, but the moment you ask them to actually apply that knowledge to a new, practical problem, they struggle. And that right there is the ultimate failure of the IMP culture. Okay, so it all sounds pretty bleak, I know. But here's the good news. This isn't a dead end. There's actually a clear, hopeful blueprint for how to fix this. It's not about tearing the whole system down, but about smartly reforming it from the inside out. Let's check out some of the solutions. And these are real actionable steps. Just imagine a system where your final grade doesn't hinge on one stressful 3-hour exam, but comes from projects, class discussions, and presentations you've done all year long. Imagine exams that ask, how would you solve this, instead of just, what is the definition of? These kinds of changes go straight to the root of the problem and totally dismantle the IMP culture by changing how we measure success itself.
So when you boil it all down, what's the ultimate takeaway here? What are we really talking about? Well, it comes back to a fundamental shift, a shift in our values and what we truly believe education is for.
This is it. This is the core argument. Are we trying to create walking hard drives, or are we trying to build creative thinkers, resilient problem solvers, and just empathetic human beings? The goal has to be about equipping students for the challenges of life, not just the questions on a test.
So, as we wrap this up, we want to leave you with that question. Because moving beyond the mark sheet, well, that's not just a job for politicians. It requires all of us, students, parents, teachers, to stop for a second and ask ourselves what we really want from education.
and to start redefining what success truly looks like.